Hello bus fans, my name is Lee. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm taking you with me to the Watford Classic Bus Running Day, which took place on Sunday the 29th of March 2026. This is one of these sorts of events where the past comes alive. Greenline routes return from the history books. London country numbers reappear for one day only, and some of the most iconic vehicles ever to run in the whole region take to the road once again. On this day, I had planned a full day of riding, filming and exploring, and I have packed this video. Along the way, I will say some facts, stories, a few personal moments that make these sorts of events like these so special in my heart, and even a bus that you might remember very well from a day I did last year. So without further ado, let's get started. My day began bright and early at 08:40 at Aylesbury railway station, boarding RT 2083, LYF 21 and AC Regent, running on the rather historic Greenline route 706 to Watford Junction. The 706 was not just a local route. It was one of the long-lost Greenline routes that during its heyday ran all the way beyond Watford to Stanmore, Edgware, London Victoria, Vauxhall, Brixton, Croydon and even further south to Juntion, with summer extensions to Westerham and Chartwell. It was one of the greatest cross-London Greenline services until it was cut back to only run from Aylesbury to London in the 1980s. Today, the part I'm travelling on is replaced by modern Route 500 from Aylesbury to Hemel Hempstead, operated by Red Eagle buses, which operates Monday to Saturday. The 322 from Hemel Hempstead to Watford, operated by Arriva, which operates daily. But the best way to travel on this service is on a Sunday, when Red Rose Travel operates the 501 all the way from Aylesbury to Watford. I have done a route review on the 501, which I will link in the description. For those that remember, I have ridden RT 2083 before, most recently at the Cheshire Bus Running Day in 2025, but also the year before in 2024 when I rode this bus again from Aylesbury to Berkhamsted, but this time on the 301, but then to Cheshire along the old 353, so it's always a treat to ride this lovely piece of history. Here we are passing the site of the old Tring Bus Garage. Tring Garage was one of the many London country garages that closed in 1977. Tring was the first in the local area to close, and that happened in April 1977. The other garage in the area that closed was High Wycombe, which closed a few months later in September 1977. Today, the site of Tring Garage is now the post office sorting office and a gym. It is great that the garage is still being used. However, as you will see later, not every garage is used well. Here we are going down London Road in Hemel Hempstead. To your right, you will find the old Two Waters Bus Garage, which is still used as a bus garage to this day, and is now used by the main bus operator in Hemel Hempstead, which is Arriva. They operate a number of services in the Hemel Hempstead, Watford and St Albans area, using a fleet of E200MCs, E300s, E400MCs, Bolt Pulsar 2s and 2X3 for Aylesbury E400s, which Hemel Hempstead got just before the depot in Aylesbury closed in July 2024. At Hemel Hempstead, we split off on the 500, which terminates in the town, and join up with the 322 service, which is operated by Arriva and runs from Hemel Hempstead to Rickmansworth via Watford, and we will follow the 322 for the rest of our journey. And here we are arriving at Watford Junction, which is a hive of activity. Here you can board heritage buses all around the area, and as well as that you can also get London North Western Railway and Avanti West Coast services to places along the West Coast Main Line, such as Milton Keynes and Birmingham. The Lioness line of the London Overground also serves Watford Junction, and serves stations in Harrow, Wembley and onto London Euston. As well as that, Southern also run an hourly service from Watford to West Croydon via Shepherd's Bush. But the best line of all from Watford has got to be the Abbey line, a short 12-minute journey to St Albans Abbey, operated by London North Western Railway. However, if you like buses, you will like bus services at the station, such as TfL routes 142 to Brent Cross and the 258 to Harrow and South Harrow, both of which are operated by Metroline. Here I had a short 30-minute wait before my next bus. Thank you. At 10:20 I boarded RF 600, NLE 600, a lovely AC Regal, going back on myself on the 708 to Hemel Hempstead. Like the 706, the 708 once ran deep into London, to places like Stanmore, Edgware, Victoria, Vauxhall, Brixton, Croydon, Godstone and East Grinstead, before being cut back so it only ran from Hemel Hempstead to London in the 1980s. RF600 is another bus you might remember well from the Cheshire Running Day all the way back in September 2025, when I rode this lovely bus on the 348 to Buckland Common and on to Hyde End and then back to Cheshire, and it's always a nostalgic ride.
With this electrification, which is you could do it capacity because they run out of depots. So it was a pretty useful it's take things on board. It's what that we did it down this way and that way. No, just keep it. Don't start diversify these other routes. As you keep saying, it's too complicated. But they're going to simplify the 12 and they'll only be one stopping service, but that's going to be every 15 minutes to Chington and every half hour to Eastbourne. So Eastbourne will get paid instead of 7. So this is the new just come out towards him. Thought he might be able to recruit him to go south. He's got commercial, he's doing a lot of good work. Well, presumably seeing all day. I told him to say
And here we are arriving at Riverside in Hemel Hempstead at 10:52. Now, you probably think I would just go back to Watford from here, but I'm not going to do that, as I plan to go further north, as Hemel Hempstead on this day was one of 3 interchange points, where a number of buses all meet up at the same time and all leave to go to different places at the same time or similar times. So it's more or less a pause point. For me, I will be changing buses here onto my next bus to head further north. My next trip was on route 317A to Berkhamsted, operated by T792 HLX 492, another AC Regal. The 317A is a scenic route linking Hemel Hempstead with a number of villages in the area such as Nittendine and Ringshall to Berkhamsted, and was one of 2 routes to Berkamsted on this day, the other being the 706, with connections possible between both routes at the second interchange point, which was at the railway station in Berkhamsted. The 317A has not seen a public service since 2023, when Red Eagle buses retrieved their 29, 30 and 31 services, which all link Berkhamsted with Hemel Hempstead via a number of other villages, as well as the ones on this. So seeing the 317A return for one day only was a rare trip that I could not have missed.
Should be Bridge Street. And there was going to be a steep slope. This is Marlowe's.
Here we are passing the scenic village of Ringshall, which is in the Chiltern Hills. The scenery around this area of the Chiltern is nothing more than stunning. Shame that Ringshall and the villages around this area don't have a public bus service anymore. However, you can travel by public transport by using Hert's Links, which is Hertfordshire's on-demand bus service. which serves all villages in the region and also can take you to the nearby towns of Berkhamsted, Tring and Hemel Hempstead. But you can also use Hert's links to go to At House, which is a National Trust building which I strongly recommend you go to. You can find all information on Hert's links in the description. And here we are arriving at the second interchange point at Berkamsted railway station, where we arrived at 11:39. Here you can see AEC Route Master RML 2456 waiting for people to take them back to Watford. However, to spice things up a bit, I'm not going to get that, and instead I will be taking London North Western Railway on a service back to Watford, as if I was to catch RML 2456, I will not make my next bus at Watford Junction, as it will have left 30 minutes before we were due back, so I've had no choice but to get the London North Western Railway back to Watford. At 12:13, I boarded SMB 449, YPL 449T, a Leyland National, on route 319, all the way from Watford to the small village of Chipperfield via King's Langley. The 319 does still exist as the R9 service operated by Red Eagle buses. However, if you're thinking of riding this route, be warned, as the R9 service only runs twice a week, on a Wednesday and a Friday, with one return trip and only as far as the Super Asda in Garston. SMB 449 is another bus I rode at Chenies Bus Running Day in 2025, when I rode this bus on route 349 to the small village of Aylesbury. But I also rode this bus at the High Wycombe Bus Running Day in 2024 on route 397 to Cock Lane. Here we are passing the site of another old London country garage, but this time the main bus garage in the whole area, Garston. Unlike Tring Garage, which closed in 1977, Garston lasted a lot longer than some of the other garages, as Garston was still in use right until 2018, when the company that owned it at the time, Arriva, sold it to developers for new housing. It is very sad that we've now lost a living memory of London country in the form of Garston Garage. Oh. Here we are stopping at the site of the old Ovaltine Works in King's Langley. The Ovaltine Works was the main work site in King's Langley and made the famous Ovaltine hot drink. During its heyday, London Country ran a worker service for people who worked at the site, numbered the 301A. On this day, the 301A was running, however I was not planning to get it. The Ovaltine Works was the third and final interchange point, where we had a few minutes while connecting with the 301A that we were scheduled to meet up with. And here we are arriving into the beautiful village of Chipperfield. Chipperfield is a very nice beautiful village and it has a pretty good bus service, the most frequent of which being the 352 service, which is operated by Red E buses and serves just outside the village and runs between Hemel Hempstead through a number of villages such as Bovingdon and Chipperfield and on to Watford, and operates every 2 hours. I do plan to do a route review on the 352 one day. A few minutes later, I am back on SMB 449 for the return trip, but this time I'm not going all the way back to Watford. Instead, I'm going to get off the 319 about 12 minutes later at King's Langley railway station, as it is simply quicker to hop on London North Western Railway from there rather than staying on the bus all the way back to Watford.
Yeah, I get really bad shoulder ache. Like my back is like the neck's almost closed. A couple of times on my way back, I had to stop. Decided I had to stop.
Thank you very much. Have a good day. And here we are arriving at King's Langley railway station. This is where I leave the buses for a bit and rejoin the West Coast Main Line to head back to Watford Junction, where I had my lunch until my final trip on what I think is the best bus of the whole running day. At 15:08, I boarded the 336 to Chenies, on board a bus that needs no introduction, as I've ridden this bus so many times and I've shown it on my channel before. Arriva Midlands Scania L113 East Lancs European 2168 N168PUT. This bus was one of only 59 Scania L113 East Lancs Europeans made in 1996, meaning this is the rarest bus I have ridden. Today, the 336 does still exist, and we are actually following it, as it is now operated by Red Run Travel. However, the current 336 only operates as far as Chorleywood, with no service whatsoever to Chenies. The 336 has got what I think is the most interesting history of any London Country route. After London Country was split in 1986, the route became part of London Country North West. After London Country North West was bought by Luton and District in 1990, the route stayed with the company until Luton and District was bought by British Bus in 1995. This didn't last, however, as 2 years later in 1997, British Bus was taken over by the Cowley Group, who later rebranded as Arriva in 1998. During its time at Luton and District, it had the brand name of Network Watford. Arriva operated the 336 at their Garston garage until 2002, when Carousel Buses of High Wycombe took over the service, after Arriva pulled out. Carousel changed the 336 in 2008, when it was rerouted so that it no longer operated Chenies and instead operated fast from Chorleywood to Little Jarfont, and the route was changed so that it will no longer operate to Amersham and instead travel to Berkhamsted and High Wycombe. And to this day, Chenies has not seen a public bus service since. The 336 number disappeared in 2018 when Carousel renumbered the service to the 103 service as part of the rebranding of services to form the Chiltern Hundreds brand. However, just 4 years later in 2022, the 336 number returned, as Carousel had rerouted the 103 service away from the area, and Arriva won the contract to run a brand new service numbered the 336 to replace the 13, now run by the depot in Hemel Hempstead after Garston closed in 2018. However, a year later, in 2023, Red Rose Travel took over the 336, but as part of that, they cut the service, so they no longer ran from Chorleywood or Charfont. The 336 is a route that I already know, as I ride the Red Rose service often from Chorleywood, so it's great to see a route that I normally ride on an ADL Enviro 200, but instead ride a rare Scania, and the best Scania I've been on, and even to a village that doesn't even have a bus anymore. Here we are, arriving into the lovely village of Chenies at 15:39. The village itself is very quaint and still has an old London Transport bus shelter. Although the village no longer has a bus service and hasn't done since 2008, the shelter is still in good condition and is now used by the local parish council as an information shelter. Coming back to Chenies brought back one of my favourite memories. And the best part is, I was with the same person back with me on the same day. That person was Oliver, who you might know as the engineering manager over at Red Rose. He was with me the last time I came through Chenies, which was during the Berkamsted running day all the way back in July 2023. And he was with me again on the 336. It made the moment feel like everything had come full circle. So if you don't know what happened, all the way back in July 2023, I was riding what I think is the best Dennis that I have ever ridden, ex-Arriva Kent & Surrey 3101, R301 CMV. We were sitting in Chenies, waiting for our car parture back to Berkhamsted. But suddenly, Oliver's phone started to ring. He answered its call, and it was his good friend Joe, who at the time was a driver at Red Rose on Route 17 from Aylesbury to Bicester, but now works at Stagecoach, Oxford, calling him. But Joe was outside the bus, but he was calling Oliver via the telephone box outside the bus. The whole bus just burst out laughing. And it got funnier. About 40 minutes later, we were back in Berkhamsted, ready to head home back to Aylesbury. Our friend Morgan had fallen asleep, as he was working the day before and it had been a long day for him. So Joe and Oliver decided to wake him up. How, you might ask? Well, by using a mic and speaker that they picked up for free at the most unusual of places, the toilets at the Berkamsted M40 station. They switched it on, blasting the mic, and Morgan jumped awake like he had been launched into orbit. Everyone on the bus, which included myself, absolutely lost it. So being back in Chenies with Oliver really made the memory even better.
very first one. I think it worked. It's owned by somebody else now, but I went on that on the first and last bus rally in Holland. No. Yeah. Funnily enough, we went to Colville. One in the middle one there. But it was 40.
After a nice 30-minute drive through the Hertfordshire countryside, we arrived back at Watford Junction at 16:15, where I had 30 minutes before my bus back home.
Nice man. He said, I left the band when they did the record.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks for that.
Thanks, Dan. See you later. To finish the day, I returned to RT 2083 once again on my last trip back through the Chilterns all the way back to Aylesbury on the 706. There is something poetic about ending the day in the same way it began, on the Greenline giant, on a route that once crossed half of London from one side to another, surrounded by enthusiasts, friends, and the sound of a classic AEC engine echoing through the Chiltern countryside. And here we are, arriving back at Aylesbury railway station, arriving at 18:10, and with that brings my day at the Watford Classic Bus Running Day to a close. It has been a great day travelling all around the Watford area. It is always great to sample these lovely old buses which most people aren't able to do. Days like these remind me why I love transport heritage so much. It's not just the routes or the vehicles, it is also the stories, the friendships, the laughter and the memories that stay with you long after the engines fell silent. After all, as once said by Canadian author Martin Atwood, in the end we will all become stories. But from me, thank you very much for watching this video. I really hope you will join me again for another journey highlighting all the bus services in the region. If you do join my stuff, please subscribe to my channel and consider liking this video. But until next time, take care and keep the heritage moving. So, let's see, what did I get at the Watford Running Day? So all the things I got, well, first things are in this white bag here. So let's begin. Start with the books. Just the one book today. As you can see, the 25 years of Carousel book. So, of course, last year, 2025, marked 25 years of Carousel Bus. A company formed in 2000, bought by Go Ahead in 2012. And it's still going strong. They've expanded massively in the past couple of years. Really since 2024 when Arriva closed the High Wycombe depot. Next up are the programmes, so let's get them out. So the first one is the Farewell to Hemel Hempstead bus station from 2016. Farewell Garston in 2018. Cheshire in October 2021. Another Cheshire in 2022 this time. This is the special edition one, because it was made after Queen Elizabeth II passed away. And finally, High Wycombe 2024, which of course I went to. Next up are the maps. There's 3 maps. Starting with London Central map from 1964. London Country map from 1967. And a tube map from 1988, when it was still called the Journey Planner. So if I just open it up. As you can see, Metropolitan line cut to Amersham by then. Piccadilly line only go to Uxbridge during the peak. Heathrow was there, but it was not Terminal 5. Terminal 5 will not open until 2008. Bakerloo line only peak as Tower Wilston. Rest of the day terminating at Queen's Park, so where most of the Bakerloo line trains actually terminate today, actually. Bear in mind, this is pre-1990. This is pre-Hammersmith City, so the Metropolitan line was still going to Hammersmith back then. We had the East London line as well. Also, peak hour Metropolitan line services to Market, now of course part of the Hammersmith City line. DLR was being constructed, as you see. There's the up to Island Gardens, Stratford and Tower Gateway. It also shows Network South East and the Waterloo and City line. Waterloo and City wasn't taken over by London Transport / London Underground until the mid-1990s. This is obviously from 1988. And it also shows Network South East and the Thameslink route and the Northern City line, which had already been taken over by NSE. Also shows the Epping to Ongar line, which was peak hour only by then. Aldwych was peak hour only as well. And I think that was it. Jubilee was being built as well. It was only running from Stanmore to Charing Cross at the time, however. And it will get extended until 1999. Next up are the timetables. So there's quite a few of them. Starting with London Country Bus Services Northwest Area staff timetable from 1974. Then we got something interesting. This is a pack of timetables. If I just move this back along. This is a pack of timetables from 1980, showcasing all the services by Chiltern Link, which was the brand name of London Country Services and all the Valley in the High Wycombe area, and also into Amersham as well. This didn't last long, unfortunately. It was quite a short-lived project. But as well as that, I've also got another travel pack. This one, from London Country Northwest, which was the company that took over London Country, in the Northwest area anyway, in 1986. It shows all the SOS tables. The best one here is this one here, the Cheshire Connection expansion black one. I'll get to the situation with in a minute. Then we got another London Country Northwest title, this time of the High Wycombe area from 1986. Then we got Watford Area Guide from 1988. And another one for the Watford area in 1989 in January. And the reason for that is because I've also got a London Country North West title from February 1989 for High Wycombe and Berkamsted. Then we got one here, Chiltern Bus title from 1991. This was, I believe, 1 year after London Country North West was actually taken over by Luton and District. And the service just became Luton and District's branding and the Chiltern Bus branding in the High Wycombe Amersham area. Then this is interesting. We've got this one here. The Ramblers Bus Route 29, now later the 329, by Red Rover buses. Not Red Rose, but Red Rover, the original Red Rover buses. Don't know when it's from though. I believe it's 1991. Then we got 323, 324 title for Chiltern Rover, which was the name after Luton and District was bought out. They were bought out in 1995 by British Bus, who later became Arriva. After British Bus was taken over by Cowie Group, aka Arriva now. Then another one, this time for Aylesbury in the Vale, 260, 261, 280, so the Oxfords from 1996. Then another one for the Chiltern Rover area, 1996 again, from September this time, for the 323, 324 again, but also the Speed Run and the 325, which was the Reading Milton Keynes service, of course. Then another one, 336, Charteridge to Watford, and 353 from 1997. Then we got the Arriva timetable from 2005 for the Aylesbury area, Route 2, when it was still going to Bedgrove back then. Then we got the tube guide for the Metropolitan line up to Amersham. Bear in mind, you can still get these, but you have to get them online now. This is obviously from 2007 to when it was all aid stock. And back then, the Chesham services were all shuttle services, apart from some peak hour services that did go through, normally to Baker Street, but occasionally Aldgate. Then we got some of these network change guides from 2008, this one. And yes, that looks like a squished Lex 400, but the AI, if you want to say that. Then a 280 timetable from, we don't actually know, I believe it's 2008, but it's a good little guide. Then we got another High Wycombe area change guide from 2010. And then there's something interesting, this little beauty from the 9th of August 2010, the T5 service operated by Tiger Line. This only lasted a year, the T5, because a year after this route started, Tiger Line buses, aka Woodson's Coaches, was bought out, and the company that bought it actually went into administration a year after that. Then we got this little pocket guide from Arriva from 2010 October from the Unite Union, so the union that Arriva used. This is actually it's just information for staff of all the regulations and stuff, which is all good. Then we've got some Somerset guides, starting with this one, title number 13 from April 2011 for Taunton to Minehead. Then timetable number 14 from the same day, 17th of April 2011 for the Taunton Deane area. And then the South Somerset Connections, timetable number 12 from May 2011 from Somerset County Council. Then more timetable change guides from the 15th of May 2011 for Aylesbury. Also one for High Wycombe in same day, but by Arriva. And then another one from the 6th of November 2011. And then we've got 6th of November 2011. Again, I've got two of those. Don't know why I did that, but hey ho. And then we've got 10th of June 2012 for Arriva services. And then 5th of February 2012, Red Route 9 timetable when it was extended to Bedgrove. Red Route 9 started to go to Bedgrove in 2008. and replaced the 2, which had been cut back. And then that stayed the same until 2013. Then this little guide, don't know when it's from, believe it's from 2012 because of the group 4 there. For the services between hospitals in Bucks. And then we've got 5th of February 2012, service changes guide from Buckinghamshire County Council. Because of course we've got one from another one from Arriva in North Bucks at Aylesbury from the same day. And finally, I know I've mucked it up, but here another timetable here, 8th of January 2012 for the H1 hospital shuttle bus that ran for a couple of years. And finally, another Somerset timetable, Taunton Park Ride from 2014, which is a bit of a potted history because Taunton Park Ride opened in 2008 by Stagecoach. It was operated by them for a couple of years, and then a company called Weber Bus took over. They ran it until 2014 when it was taken over by First Bus, and they used street lights on that. Originally white, and then for the past couple of years of its operation, it was operating with a nice purple, orange and blue colour scheme. But then Stagecoach took it over in 2024 with MMC, based at the Exeter depot. Then we've got some more here. Got a badge, as you can see, Chiltern Link badge. And then finally, ticket rolls. I know, it sounds weird, ticket rolls. Yeah, here's the first one. Here's one. So this is 1990 to 2000 till 1995. 1995 till 1996. So, yeah, as you can see, that one. Got 2 more. Here's the first one. Arriva set tickets, like a train ticket. And on the other side, as you can see, it's got an arrow. I don't know where it's from though. And finally, the best one of the lot. Let me get it out. Here it is. The Arriva ticket roll. And a special type, because if I just get it out, you'll probably notice, if I just show you, it's a McDonald's ticket. This is from 2008, because of the dates of the Arriva, because of the dates of the McDonald's advert. So, yeah, if I found. So, something's happened, and it's something interesting. So, as part of this, I'm actually bringing back title reviews again. So, title reviews will take place not every week, on a different day. It'll be uploaded, because of my upload schedule, it's now going to be on a Sunday at 6 o'clock. So you've got my regular upload on a Wednesday, and then you've got title reviews on a Sunday, both at 6 o'clock British time. It will show all the timetables from both the Pact and also the London Country Guide, also the service changes guides as well, and all the other ones, as far as the Taunton Park Ride Guide as well. But yeah, if you like that sort of stuff, please subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for those. It won't come into effect yet. An update video will come out soon telling you the changes. But until then, thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for all the photos that I took on the day. But until then, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to live this out. We got this far, don't know how.